Alright, long time no see. Just doing up my buttons for some reason. Who even knows? Lately, after Easter, we got into a rhythm of work and life. I even made up my little schedule here. And I've been working some weekend days, and this weekend I started Wednesday to Monday week, so that's going to be interesting. And it also means that I've just been reading a ton, and our book club finished The Handmaid's Tale, so we'll talk about that on Saturday, I think. And it was an interesting book. I liked how she used colour and descriptions and flashbacks to tell this grand story that wasn't really grand, but it was not as terrifying as some people make it out, and I might watch it. I'm not sure if I'll watch it or not. I've also been reading this, Mervyn Peake's Titus Grown, which I was told... No, I read some reviews online that it was one of the best fantasy novels ever written, because he's actually an artist that then made movies maybe, and then wrote these 3 books. I don't think I'll read the other ones, because I'm going through this period of reading all this short fiction, and then I'll slowly go into longer classic fiction. Like I tried to start The Brothers Karamazov last night, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a little bit short, and then it's like 1,000 pages, but you don't know how big books are on Kindle. So I don't think I'll continue with that until later, although I've heard that's one of the best books ever written. But this, so I'm reading short fiction, and then I just want to get back into fantasy adventure, but I don't want fantasy adventure that's just 75% philosophical thought and like, oh yeah, I feel these feelings. I just want like this group of funny guys go and stab a few people and rescue the princess and get lots of treasure. So I think I just bought some online of that way, but it's based around a castle and the new heir to the family line, which they've been like 73 different earls, is born. And so it's about all these crazy characters in the castle, and one of the characters like attempt to rise up the social ranks, and he is definitely an artist with words. Like some of the descriptions is just crazy good, but I just don't want crazy good descriptions right now. I just want adventure. So I'm like 3/4 of the way through, and I'm like, great story, great descriptions, amazing characters. Like, these characters are so ridiculous, but I just wish these ridiculous characters went on a quest. So I don't think I'll read the other ones, but I think there's a BBC TV series online somewhere, so I think I'll watch that, because I think watching the characters will be more interesting. Then I finally started The Art of Helping. I've been taking myself through this online counselling practitioner course, and I'm in the last unit of that, which he's actually just filmed 2 counselling, like, not sessions, because it's multiple sessions, with these 2 people, and just debriefs of like, this is what I did there, and this is what I did here, and it's so fascinating. And so one of the books he said to read was this, and some counselling textbooks are just like, oh, so many texts, I just want examples. Whereas this guy I really like good formatting. So this guy formats like one thought, one picture to do with the thought, next page. Or maybe there's 3 pages to the thought, but there's all these examples. And that has taken a lot of what I've learnt in this course down into like pictures, which are helpful for my brain to like organise information, because that's what I do when I take notes too. So that's fun, and I've got another one on the bill, but that has a lot more words. So words are good because I'm learning, and then I've got to figure out how to practice all of these listening and speaking and question skills, and I don't know how to do that yet. Although I've been on 7 Cups a bit, like listening to people and that, but then text is different to speaking, and it's a lot more involved when you're actually with the person. So that'll be interesting if I can find like volunteers out of quarantine. Then we finished this puzzle, which took us forever because there were 1,500 pieces, but it's so beautiful, and we only lost 1 piece in the whole time. And we're almost finished our East chocolate. Apparently one of the chocolate eggs was off. I was like, oh. Good thing I didn't eat it. And I've added to my tea collection. So I always heard about pu'er tea, which is a type of fermented tea, I think. So I got some when it was 30% off. I don't think I like it. I'm going to try it again one of these days. And then I got a milk oolong ages ago and love it. And then because it was 30% off, I just got a whole bunch of weird stuff like summer spree. And don't know what that is. But apparently there's additives that won't be great. Royal Miss Grey, it's like Earl Grey tea but with vanilla, so it's instantly London Fog, which is Earl Grey tea with a shot of vanilla with steamed milk. I found a rooibos that doesn't have additives. I hate rooibos with like orange and vanilla or what's the other one that they do, like pepper something. I'm just like, oh, just give me the red bush. So I got a pure rooibos. So I'll be drinking that a lot, and we're waiting for our, what month is it? April. Our April tea club to arrive in the mail. But our mailbox doesn't lock, so we're not sure if the postie is just not dropping things in there, or if it's just late, so I've got to email them in a few days. Oh, and then we refilled Cactus Blossom, because it's good morning tea. Haven't restocked my coffees yet, because I'm still going through them. One of our friends gave us stroop waffles, like the Dutch waffles with syrup, but it's like caramel in the middle, and I love them, and Camilla apparently does not like them. So I ate them, and that finished up the other day, so that was sad. And then I'm getting through some of my graphic novels, which has been interesting. And I've been journaling a bunch, and it's been interesting. There's this journaling technique, and I think it's like CBT type counseling thing where you look at, it's ABC. So the A is not the trigger, but almost the trigger, like something that happened that made you respond. And then B, which is the belief, like what was behind your response? What was behind why you reacted like that? And then C, the conclusion. What happened because of that attitude and that behavior? Oh, maybe that's what it is. Attitude and behavior and conclusion. Anyway. And so of late, and Camilla used to do something similar with mindfulness meditation, where you would just think about something that happened in life and then do the same. And I tried it a few times, but I didn't understand that that's what we were supposed to do, and I prefer writing it out anyway. So the last few days it's been like, this happened and I felt angry or I felt frustrated, and then why? Like what was behind that and what could I have done instead? And it's been so fun, so interesting. And I like journaling, and I like using my fountain pens. I have this fountain pen that I've had for like 9, almost 10 years, and then this other, and one of my friends went to China for this trip, and he brought it back like 8 little things of the ink that I can refill my pens with, and so I'm never going to run out of that, and it smells nice. Although I have to clean 2 of my pens soon because it's starting to stick, so I have to use this little bottle of water to like get the ink going every time. I love it. One day I'm going to spend more than €4 on a pen. I think I spent $1 on all 3 of the pens I regularly use. And I used to have a lot of clicker pens, but I don't know where they went, because you could refill them as well. What else? That's all. Okay. Bumblebee tune. No. Okay, so we got a little cabin fevery, so we went on a hike, a pazintinis takas, which is like a track that you learn stuff on. I couldn't figure out what the Australian version of it is. It's like when you go to the botanical gardens and they have little signs about every tree, but it's not as intense as that, and it's usually out in the middle of nowhere. So this one was around the river banks of this river that goes all the way along and connects with, I think, the longest lake in Lithuania. And it was like, you go up these stairs, you walk around this little bit, you go down these stairs, you go across this cool bridge, etc., etc. And you could see that some of it floods, but it wasn't flooding just then. And then there was this huge anthill as we went, and all of these viewpoints that you could stop at and read some of the things. And then I was playing Ingress at the same time because there were portals everywhere. And then later we went to geocache, which is like treasure hunting but with GPS. And we couldn't figure out if I say it wrong or if she's saying it wrong, because I say geocache because you find a cache, but then you also say cache because that's like treasure. But then in computer terms there's another word that's the same but different. Anyway, so if anyone knows, is it geocaching or geocaching? Because we thought that too, because you catch the things. Anyway, so these Lithuanians have built like a basketball of little ones, and it's like over kilometers of forest, and so you walk like 600 meters and find one, 600 meters, find one, and every little thing has a profile of a famous basketball player from Lithuania in it, and so it's so fascinating, and like tromping through like a birch forest or a pine forest or a fir forest, and I couldn't figure out the difference between aglet and pushis yet, even though pine and fir are two different trees, but the clues would sometimes be aglet, but then we would find a tree that looks like a pushis, so I was like, well, which one is it? Because one of them, like pine, doesn't have branches on the bottom, and then fir is a Christmas tree, so it should have branches all to the bottom, but then some of them didn't have branches on the bottom, so anyway, whatever. Trees difference. And then there were these flowers, and it was so good. Anyway, so I've had a few good weeks. And I'm sleeping pretty good, although I did have some terrible dreams the other night, but I don't remember what they were. And it's getting so warm that I get to sit on the balcony and read, so I'm about to do that with my coffee. Bye.